Hi, welcome to the Louie File. Today I want to talk to you about temptation. You know, temptation is where we all live every day. Sometimes it's more intense than other times, but we live in a sin-soaked world. I heard it said one time that we live in the enemy's camp and he has a right to shoot at us. So that's what he does, right? Especially as a believer. All right. The Bible talks about temptation in lots of places, but I don't want to do a lot of Bible flipping, so I'm probably going to quote or paraphrase some things here. But I do want to read in James 1, verse 2 and 3 and 4, and maybe even further, I'm not sure. James 1:2, it says, "Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials." That could be temptation. Sometimes I think the word trial and temptation sometimes is interchanged, and you got to know the context. But so anyway, it says, "Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you can encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance, and let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." Wow. So testing, trials, temptations, these things are meant to strengthen us, to produce endurance in us, so that we would be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. What is this saying? Now, if we have been joined to Christ by faith, we've been born again, we're a new creature. The person who we really are is holy and righteous, forgiven, just, sanctified. All of these good Bible terms are true of us in Christ. Now, so when a temptation comes along, when something comes along that pulls on us on a flesh level, the real us, the real who we are, joined to Christ, doesn't want to do them. But our flesh level might crave them. We might have an appetite sometimes for fleshy things, right? If you go on down to in James 1, starting in verse 14, it says, "But each one is tempted when he's carried away and enticed by his own lust. Then when lust is conceived, it gives birth to sin, and when sin is accomplished, it brings forth death." So we have fleshy lusts. We want more cake. We want sex. We want alcohol. We want power. We want more money. I mean, there's all kinds of things that pulls on us in an earthly, fleshy sense. And those things are good for us. And the reason they're good for us is because from God's perspective and from ours, since we are one with Him and have His mind, they are there to settle us. They are there to shake us enough and settle us in who we really are. That's what I think. Anytime we're being pulled by a fleshy thing, the real us, the spirit joined to Christ, has to stand up and say, "That's not who I am. I'm joined to Christ, and Christ doesn't want this." Right? So it's a tug or a pull back to this false sense of independence from God. It's this mentality that says, I can do this and do a little bit, or I know when to say no. I know when I can quit. It doesn't control me, as if I'm in charge of me. I don't want this to get confusing, but in 1 Corinthians 6:17, we're told that he that's joined to the Lord is one spirit. We are, in fact, as a believer, as a Christian, in union with Christ. And He's not coming in and out of the scene. He is ever present. So when we're walking in something and we are being pulled toward sexual, alcohol, greed, lying, whatever those things are, we know that that's not what Christ is about, and that's not who He is. So now if we're joined to Him, the reality is we're not really about that either. So temptations and all of this is to produce endurance in us. They are there to remind us all the time and rehearse for us who we really are. So God is looking at this test and He's going, this is so good for my children to be reassured of who they really are, who I've really made them to be in Christ. And Satan, or the enemy, is on the other side going, oh, I got them now. They're not really all of what God says they are. Remember when Jesus was tempted in the wilderness? What did He do? He said, if you're the Son of God, turn these stones to bread. See, he was attacking or tempting or pushing Him at an identity level. So Jesus responds with, "It is written." See, Jesus knows who he is, and he's saying that it is written. So that trumps what you're trying to do. So the temptation, the pull toward turning these stones to bread, don't have power over him. What it is written says is the truth. And he comes back at him again. He says, well, if you're the Son of God, throw yourself off this pinnacle. Jesus says, it is written, do not tempt your Lord, your God. Then Satan comes back again and he goes, if you bow down and worship me, I will give you all these kingdoms. See, every one of his jabs at Jesus and at us, when we see it, are really based on getting us off of who we really are in Christ, getting us to go back into this independent mentality that thinks I can do good and I can avoid evil and I can make my own decisions about what's right and wrong. Oh my, see, it goes all the way back to the tree in the garden. He says, the day you eat of this, your eyes will be open and you will know the truth and you will be as God, knowing good and evil. So Satan's temptations and pulls are always designed to get us back into this false sense of that we're God, that we're in charge, that we make independent choices. It's the spirit of error. The good news is that greater is he that is in you and in me than he that is in the world. See, the Spirit of truth now resides in us. So when we walk through these things, the desert temptation land, we call back to mind what is written about us. And we say, nope, it is written that I'm holy. Nope, it is written that I am righteous. Nope, it is written that I have been placed into Christ, I have been crucified, I have been buried, and I have been raised back. I am a new creature in him, and I no longer walk that path, and I no longer am those pulls and desires, and I am not a flesh being, I am a spirit being. And the Bible, it is written, says, if you walk after the Spirit, you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So don't forget who you are today, Christian. You are joined to Christ. You're a brand new creature. So when you get those pulls, remember who you are and who he is in you and whose you are. You belong to him now. And stand in that. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching.